Hello, everyone. Good day, wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. And today we're going to talk about an issue, and I call it a pandemic. Myself is we're going to talk about mental health, but we're going to be specific to mental health for youth and young adults. And we've seen so far the numbers are alarming. It is important that we pay attention to what's going on because we are losing life, we are losing young life, and it is important to talk about it and to connect because I think that's sometimes the problem. We don't connect. We are with our children, and there are signs, but we don't see those signs. So today, I have a queen, but she's also an activist for youth. And just to give you a little bit of background about my guest today, um, so she is, like I said, an activist for young children, young adults. She is the CEO and founder of From Pain to Purpose, and she is known as the Queen of Smooches. So she's gonna tell us, how this name originated, and we will understand, why she is the Queen of Smooch. She has a vibrant personality, and she's passionate. She's a passionate speaker, and I've talked about advocacy. So she advocates, and and she's an activist for domestic violence, teen dating violence, and now she's starting a new process addressing the mental health, of our young adults. And she's gonna have the opportunity to tell you more on her and her, her journey as an activist, but also maybe a personal journey, the different challenges that she had, to go through while doing this very important work. So just to give you, for you to have um, okay, so that's the picture. So you've probably seen her around doing fantastic work. She's Dr. Amber Ann Lyons. And like I said, she's the CEO and founder of From Pain to Purpose. And she has started a new program. We're going to focus our conversation on this new program addressing, like I said, youth and young adult mental health. So come in, have something to write on because there's going to be some great ideas, that she's going to bring in. And also, she's also going to help us to understand the problem. It is a global problem, but she has the perspective from the U.S. point of view. But I know that it is a global problem. So don't go anywhere. I will bring her just now, and then we will start this important conversation. And please don't hesitate to ask any question if you're watching live, and to give your insight, because it's, like I said, it is an important conversation that needs to happen. So don't go anywhere. Let's start, the show. Another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Birai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Real is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. impact yourself positively, and from there impact others. And you are not alone.
So, welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show, Dr. Amber, our queen today. Welcome, and it is a pleasure to have you and to talk about a very, very important topic that we really need to, to talk about, because I think we're ignoring certain signs and we are losing life and we are losing, young lives. We'll get the opportunity to talk about it. So just, to would like you to introduce yourself to the audience. Let us know who you are. I've given a short introduction, but I know there's so much more. So I'll leave you the stage to do that.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. First of all, thank you so much to this Queen Muriel for having me this morning, the Greatness Engineering our show. I am so delighted to be here. As she has already stated, I'm Dr. Amber Ann Lyons, and I'm a woman of God. I am a woman of vision. I am a domestic violence and teen dating violence advocacy advocate. I'm a youth advocate. I serve as the almost 2 years now serving in the World Women's Conference and Awards organization as the global leader of the Young Leaders Club, where we work with people and young people around the world in regarding different programmings, initiatives, regarding advocacy skills, training and development in various areas. I create programming for them. And I also work within ministry as an elder in my church at Spirit and Truth International Worship Center, and located in Loganville, Georgia, under the leadership of my pastor, Senior Pastor Kurt and Dr. Nedra Buckmeyer. I serve in various capacities of leadership there. And I work with my organization From Pain to Purpose, which I am the CEO and founder of. She said that they called me the Queen of Smooches. And yes, that is something that I have been come to be called. When I started working with the World Women's Conference and Award almost 2 years ago, as a matter of fact, next month, July, will be 2 years. And I would, when in the leadership meetings on a weekly basis, we would meet virtually. And at the end of every meeting, I would say smooches, smooches. And, I would call everybody queens. So they begin to term me the queen of smooches. And I'd be blowing kisses and saying smooches. And they actually gave me that name and I branded it.
Fantastic. Really great.
Yeah, so it's just from my bubbly personality, my vibrancy. When I speak, people tell me, even if it's over the phone, that they can feel, my passion coming through, because when I'm speaking about something, yeah, it might be a little bit of that Brooklyn, New York hood that's in me that make me a little loud. But it's also the love and the passion that I have about what it is that I'm
Hmm.
speaking talking about and what God has assigned to
Mm-hmm.
my hands. And the youth are a huge part of who God has assigned to my hands and given me a passion for. And I've been working with youth in various capacities for over 30 years, mentorship and leading them in different areas. And it's a blessing to be able to have youth that want to work with you. That's a big
Mm-hmm.
deal. So I'm really grateful. Our Healing Pain Through the Arts youth program is amazing, and it opens up so many doors for us to be able to bring forth not only platforms for youth to be able to have a voice, an expressive voice, but to be able to educate our community, to be able to cultivate love and healing, and to be able to celebrate the gifts and talents of our young people. So we're constantly on the battlefield, advocating and doing what we can do to bring leadership success to our young people. So that's a huge part. I'm a mother, grandmother, a mother of three amazing adult children, grandmother of four beautiful young two young princes and two young princesses. And I'm just a woman who just is full of life and love. So that's who I
Mm-hmm.
am.
Fantastic, and it is, it is a lot, and it's important to see, the passion and the energy, because working with young people, that's what we need. We need this energy, and bring them, with us, because they sometimes they have the feeling that they know everything, but it's
Hmm.
important to pass this, facade that they show us, and to try
Yes.
to understand what's behind and guide them, through any process that they go through. So we will start our conversation on, your new program, Cop to Hope. But I just want to show a video, that you've when you introduce the program to the world. So don't go anywhere. We'll get back with the Queen of Smooches.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope all is well. I just want to welcome everybody to a newly launching project that I'm doing. This is Dr. Ann Lyons, CEO and founder of From Pain to Purpose, and the visionary of Healing Pain Through the Arts Youth Program. We know we just came out of the month of May, which was Mental Health Awareness Month. But how many know that mental health is important every day? So guess what? We're going to be starting a new program called Cope to Hope. And the Cope is, the C in Cope is check-in. Check-in creates communication. So how about we checking in? We're going to be doing a weekly check-in. And I want to just share a tidbit with you. Do you happen to know that suicide is the second leading cause of death between the ages of 15 and 29 globally? And it is a frequent cause of death of young ladies, females, the ages 15 to 19. We have to do something about this. So check in. Tell me, how you doing? We hope you're doing well. Let's create some communication and talk about this subject.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So, how did because you've been working with, you for quite some time. So, what actually led you to start this important project just now, not before?
Okay, so in working with youth, I have experienced young people who have gone through various bouts of, nobody ever called it mental health
Mm-hmm.
before, but they've dealt with a lot of depression, anxiety, some having panic attacks, various different things that they have dealt with where people may brush it under the rug or not really acknowledge what it is. First of all, that it's real, that they're actually going through something. And the fact that we are still in the midst of a 2-year pandemic, 2+ years, 2.5 years of a pandemic, where young people were really put to the back burner in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the focus was on when it came to instructional learning because they had to go from in-person learning to virtual. But going from in-person learning to virtual caused a great deal of even mental anguish upon our young people. There was a rise of almost 33 to 35% of emergency room visits globally for teens dealing with mental health issues during the time of the pandemic. So adults were having such a time themselves dealing with the pandemic until people were really focusing on checking in, having these conversations with our young people. Husbands and wives or single mothers are so busy either trying to work from home, prepare 3 meals a day, have instructional learning with various children that they have in the home. They were so busy trying to do those things, keep from breaking each other's necks, from being around each other 24/7. And if they were going out as an essential worker or whatever have you, or if they were a single parent that had multiple children and everybody needed a laptop and they didn't have them for them. So there were so many things that as adults we were dealing with, being displaced from our employment, money situation changes, income varying, all of these different things. And now we're in the flux of inflation now with so much going on. Our focus is always on what we are going through. And we don't really take the time to horn in on our youth and young adults and take their feelings and their experiences as real and valid issues that are happening with them. Parents are being at home with children for a week and don't really engage with them on checking in with them about how are you doing. Are you okay with missing your friends? Okay, they're back in school now, but they were in out of school for what, over a year, where they were disassociated from their friends. No, the extracurricular activities, everything was shut down. They couldn't see their family. They couldn't see their schoolmates. They weren't able to do the activities in school. All of these things had an impact on our young people, on their mental anguish, and it became now, I've been talking about it the whole pandemic because our You Speak Out podcast, which is an amazing team of four co-hosts that I work with. I'm the visionary for it, and they are the hosts. And they mental health has been something that we've talked about many times. And when it comes to the pandemic, we they even facilitated a workshop, a roundtable discussion with the World Conference and Awards Young Atlanta chapter. They facilitated a discussion in regards to COVID-19, how it affected young people, and giving them a safe space to be able to talk about it. We have to create these safe spaces to be able to have our young people to open up the dialogue. The whole thing with Cope to Hope coming now is we need to destigmatize the conversation around mental health when it comes to youth and young adults. The society as a whole, a lot more people are getting into therapy, and a lot more people are taking charge of their own mental health and realizing that, listen, I need to talk to somebody. It's not there's somebody's gonna think I'm crazy, as people would have said in the past. I don't think there's nobody that's walking this earth that hasn't dealt with some type of mental anguish during these past 2 years. We've all had something that has bogged our mind, which ends up touching your heart and your spirit and can really bring you into a dark space if you don't address those issues. And sometimes people just need help. Sometimes they just need someone to talk to. So at the end of May 31st, I was on a panel with some of the World Women's Conference and Awards ladies, but it was on Dr. Angela Benavides, who I'm partnering with on another organization, another program. She had a mental health panel, and I on Be Global Live, Power Talk Live, and I spoke about my topic was youth and young adult mental health matters too. It's not just about our mental health, it's about theirs as well. And when I asked God what to speak about, he gave me cope, to speak about cope, because we are so busy just trying to cope. Cope means to just try to be able to manage or deal with a situation to the best of your ability. We're all just trying to manage and deal with everything that's going on, not just COVID-19, but life is still happening. People are still
Mm-hmm.
getting sick. People are still having issues in their relationships. People are still having problems on their jobs. It's the great resignation where thousands and thousands of people have walked, hundreds of thousands of people have walked away from jobs. So people, life is still happening, but we're just trying to cope. But God wants us not just to cope, but to be able to go back to the place of hope. The book of Proverbs 13 and 12 says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a
Mm-hmm.
dream fulfilled is a tree of life. We have become a sick people, and we can see that when we have 18-year-olds walking around in Uvalde, Texas, taking 19 or so lives, just shooting up a school. We have
Mm-hmm.
sick society when we have a video of a small child on video that's going viral talking about what do you want to be when you grow up, being interviewed by, I believe, his teacher. I want to be a murderer. I want to be a
Oh.
killer. This is something that we have to address. And God gave me Cope to Hope. And so after I've been doing Cope to Hope check-ins, the C in Cope is about checking in, creating communication. We have to start there. We have to start opening up this dialogue. So that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And those are profound things. I mean, when you mention this, 2 years old saying that he wants to be a murderer, I mean, that's tragic. So how did we reach this level as as society? And my question to you is, how do what are the tools that you because you said life is still happening, people are still doing what they have to do, so how do we shift, this mindset of just go, 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 and not really checking on people around us or people that we love? Because it is becoming quite frightening, especially I would say in in countries like the US, where it's all about capitalism, it's all about being competitive, it's all about being the best, so that we forget about our families, our babies, our people that we brought here, to and we actually take the engagement of taking care of them, our children. How do we shift from that?
Well, we start with the communication. We start with
Mhm,
checking in. We start with asking, "How are you doing? Are you okay?" And there's a difference between talking to someone, at someone, and with someone. As adults,
mhm,
we have a tendency to talk at or to our youth
mhm,
and young adults, and definitely our children. And yes, you do have to guide them. Yes, you do have to be the leader in the home. You do have to give the rules and the disciplinary action. You do have to, but you also have to be able to create a space where they are able to talk to you, especially in these times where there so much is happening in the world around us, where we have pedophiles and people that's coming into your home through things like Ring and things like, oh, I don't want to put Ring out there, but different types of apparatuses that we use in our home that's so fancy are giving way to different ways that people can come in and gain access to our children. I was seeing something on the news not long ago where a small child was talking about a name of a person to her parents, and they were
mhm,
thinking that this was some imaginary friend. It was actually somebody talking to her through the monitor that they had in her bedroom. They had already entered in through, broken through security, and began to speak to her, this child, and develop a relationship with her. And the parents knew nothing about it. So we have
mhm,
to consistently, I don't care if we say it one time, we have to consistently be talking to them, checking with them, asking them, creating that space. Sit down and create that space. Is there something going on? Is there anything bothering you? What do you need from me? Do parents ask their kids that? What do we need from them? No. What do they need from us? No. We're too busy saying, do your homework, do. And yes, we have to do those things. But we also have to take that next step and be able to have that open dialogue, do fun things with them, get back to having some fun. When you begin back to having fun times, you open up that safe space where they feel like they can confide in you, where they can tell you, I've been feeling sad, I've been feeling lonely, I've been feeling like my life is not worth living. Listen, my organization, Healing Pain Through the Arts, we have a Healing Pain Through the Arts Youth Spotlight Awards, and in 20 where we honor young people in the community. When we started it out, it was based on the criteria was for young people to have overcome life challenges and adversities and using their gifts and talents to inspire others. But in 2021, God gave me to honor young people who have remained resilient during the COVID-19 pandemic. And we honored nine young people. Two of them was our first time honoring two young ladies who had already passed on posthumously. So we honored their lives to let their families know they may not be here anymore, but their legacy lives on. We want you to know that we value their lives. One of the young ladies was a young lady that grew up with our young people in church. Her name was Arlena Ariana Heron, and she passed away tragically in a car accident few
Mm-hmm.
years ago, and a couple of years ago, and it rocked our world. I mean, it devastated us. But there was another young lady named Mackenzie Adams who was 9 years old, and she
Mm-hmm.
passed away because she committed suicide from being bullied. We
Mm-hmm.
need to let the world know Mackenzie Adams was here. We need to let the world know that how does a 9 year old even contemplate taking their life? How does that happen? That we have become a degenerated society as much as we have technology progressing, and we have so many wonderful young people, because on the other hand I'm working with youthpreneurs and
Mm-hmm.
young business people who are doing business and doing wonderful things. But guess what? They may be dealing with some anxiety. They may be dealing with some things about being competitive. We have to be able to open the O in cope um is observations opens opportunities. You ask, how do we shift? Not just by checking in and creating communication, healthy communication. Let me say that. When I talked about talking to, with, and at, we so busy talking to and at our children, we're not talking with them. We have to begin to talk with them. And when we talk with them, we have to begin to observe what is going on with them. Observe their body language, observe the changes in what is happening with them. Observe their personality changes. Now, as they grow older and go through different teens and younger, the things are going to change. But we have to, when we observe them, we can't just ignore them. I'm sure that 18-year-old young man's mother knew something was wrong with him. Something was going. She said, "Please don't judge my son. He had his reasons. He had reasons for killing 19 people. Like, really,
Mm-hmm.
seriously? I mean, come on. The people that did nothing to him shot his own grandmother first. Listen, we have
Mm-hmm.
got to stop turning a blind eye to the things that we see. We can see when things are not right with our young people, and we're observing this, but we're not opening up opportunities for them to get help, for them to get resources. I can't do this by myself. We have to pull in other people. And we're having our first Hope to Hope
Mm-hmm.
check-in event, partnering with my church, Spirit and Truth International Worship Center, as I mentioned earlier. And the young adult ministry is called LIT, living intentionally through tribulations. My
Mm-hmm.
daughter, Anna Thomas, and my nephew, Christian Buckmeyer, who's one of our co-hosts on You Speak Our podcast, are the leaders of our young adult lit ministry. They're partnering with From Pain to Purpose to have this event on Saturday, August the 13th at 3 o'clock p.m. at our church in Loganville, Georgia. Why? Because we want to create this safe space. We're taking the steps to be able to say, young people, we're bringing in a therapist. Dr. Kiba
Mm-hmm.
Richmond Green is going to be with us. She's a powerful therapist. We are bringing in a youth mental health advocate, Jade Lassiter. We're bringing in one of my nephew, Andrew Buckmeyer, is going to share his story. My son, St. Even, is going to be performing. We're bringing in resources to come together, and we'll have additional resources for our young people. They're not going to just come out and tell you these things. We have to
Mm-hmm.
observe and then open the opportunities for them. The P in COPE is provision provides purpose. When we observe, when we create the communication, when we open up, observe and open the opportunities, when we begin to provide, a provision provides purpose. When we provide and make provision for them by connecting them with resources and connecting them with other people who they can align with, and giving them these spaces, these events to come and feel like this is a space where I can actually let my hair down. I can be able to feel free to share. We're going to have a panel session there. And this is what we need to do. Provision provides purpose. And the E in COPE is eagerness elevates everyone. We have an issue where we're not moving fast enough to the issue of youth and young adult mental health. We're slow about it. We're not addressing it. We have a stigma around it. We are going to run. We talk about red flags. Red flags is something that means danger and it means stop. It means caution. But how about the color for mental health is green? So instead of us saying stop, caution, I'm not going to go near them. I'm not. How about the I want to bring forth and have everybody look at the green flags of mental health. The color for
Mhm.
mental health is green. Green means go. Greens mean move forward. Greens means you can proceed. So what we want to say is our eagerness to go and to be able to address these things that we're seeing, the things that we're observing in our young people, they're going to be able to elevate our community. How? Because we're going to be able to create destigmatize the conversation about mental health around our youth and young adults, give them the license to be able to say, I'm not okay. They say it's
Mhm.
okay to not be okay. I'm not okay. I need to talk to someone. I need some help. What can we do about this? We're giving them this opportunity to be able to do this. It's going to elevate the community because it's going to bring us together on the same playing field so that we can be able to rush in and help and provide the resources, the therapists, the support groups, whatever it is that is needed to be able to bring them forth and to be able to process through what now sometimes people need to go to a therapist and be able to sometimes be on medicine and things of that nature. Those things we cannot do, but we can connect you with someone who can help you in that area. So
Mhm.
that's how the shift is going to happen. It's going to take, it didn't happen overnight. And the result is the solution is not going to happen overnight. But when we take these steps to see the O, the P, and the E, we're going to get there.
Mhm. Wow, 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 powerful. And but it is, it is something simple, and when we look at it, it's just, opening our mouth and talking to, to our children. But, we get paralyzed. We don't do it. And that's the sad thing, is that something so simple, we don't do it. And it creates, dramatic, it can create a dramatic, end for our children, like, the 9 years old who committed suicide. How did it start? That's really the question. And it is important, and like you said, that we work together. So bring the parents, bring the, the expert, so that we can address that, because otherwise it's not gonna stop. It's gonna get worse. And
Mhm.
we really need to start to listen to our children, really to start to ask the right questions and act, because I think that's the part that is missing. Act when we see that there's something suspicious, or when we're not sure. Bring somebody else, bring an expert to check, to check something that you've probably miss. And that's an important step to have. So let's have a break. We'll have, a video of some of the youth that you and young adult that you work with, and let us, tell us, how they see the problem, from their perspective. So don't go anywhere. Today, my guest is, the Queen of Smooches, Dr. Amber. So don't go anywhere. The conversation is really important. So if you just joining us, please, make sure to participate, make sure to write something down, because the mental health of our youth is important for all of us. So it starts with us. So don't think that you're not part of it. You are part of this, to
Yeah.
create this safe space and to bring solution and work in collaboration with the organization and the individual that are already doing some incredible work on the ground, like Dr. Amber. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay, hi everybody, it's Action with the YSO podcast. One thing that you guys should know about mental health when it relates to youth is that it is valid. Sometimes parents and adults think that because kids have their financial situation taken care of, because they're just going to school, they don't have a job, that they shouldn't be able to feel a lot of different emotions and they should just generally be happy with their life. But just know, just because somebody is young, just because they don't have bills, or just because it's super expensive life, does not mean that they cannot be depressed, be sad, be hurting, be upset, or just dealing with anything mentally. So anybody who is young tells you that they're going through something, believe them and know that they are telling the truth.
How you doing? What's going on? It's your boy Andrew, aka CK from the YSO podcast, and I'm here to tell adults worldwide and everybody who's watching, listening, as it pertains to young people and mental health, just understand that it is very complex. It is not something that you will understand, because the world that they're growing up in didn't exist when you grew up. Not to, it just is what it is. It's a different battle that you guys face. So you gotta understand the things that they're dealing with. You have to understand what it is before you can pass judgment on it. So understand it's complex. So watch what you say, watch what you do around certain people, because you never know what could cause somebody to feel in a way, even though you might not be intending it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe somebody could perceive it in a way that is very, hurtful. So just be mindful of what you say. Make sure you get to know people before you start just saying stuff. Yeah. What's up, world? You already know what it is. Government's manual. They know me by saying anything. You can just call me God's favorite. Coming to you from the YSL podcast. And one thing I want the world to know when it comes to mental health and deals with youth and young adults is just understanding that it's not just like a sequence of emotions, right? Anybody who's dealing with any particular mental health issue, there's complexities to it, and there may be symptoms or situations that come about with it that some may not understand. People think being depressed is just being sad all the time, but they don't talk about the fatigue, or they don't talk about the messiness, or they don't talk about if you're going through manic phases or whatever the case may be. So really trying to garner a true understanding medically of what all these mental health things are, whether it's depression, bipolar depression, anxiety, or social anxiety, whatever the situation may be. Really try to understand these mental health situations, and then once you understand them, understand that they look different in every single person. Some symptoms are going to be prevalent in some people, and they're not going to be prevalent in others. Some people are going to feel certain things in seasons, and it's going to be heavily, difficult for them in certain parts of life, and then it'll be fine in other parts of life. And you just got to really understand each person that's in your life's individual battle and individual situation that they have going on, and show grace and kind of just understanding and acquiesce to the specifications that it comes to with them. Understanding, again, it's not just a sequence of emotions, but it's so many things that go into all of these different mental health conditions.
Oh, well, it's your boy Christian. I'm one fourth of the YSO podcast. One thing I would like people in the world to know when it comes to mental health and dealing with youth and young adults is to beware of the triggers. Some people that deal with mental health issues might be triggered by certain things, and you might not know what those triggers are until it's too late. And then when those triggers happen, it can cause, I don't want to say an episode, but it can cause them to go into a state where they become closed off from the outside world. So beware of those things that could put them in that state, and try having those difficult and hard conversations, but listen not with the intent to reply, just listen with the intent to understand.
So listen with the intention of, not with the intention of replying, but with the intention of listening. And yes, from those, young voice, we can see that we're not doing enough. We're not doing enough. sometime, like, the first young lady was saying, we think that we provide food, we provide housing, we provide, all the material thing, and that's enough. That's enough for us as parents, as guardian, to make them happy. And we forget completely to check on them. So let's have a break here. I see there are a few people here. We have Brenda Jordan. Yes, welcome to the show. We have Cindy as well, Cindy Grant. We have Janelle, obviously, here as well, supporting us. Janelle, thank you for being here. We have as well, so Janelle is, um, commenting, Dr. Amber is amazing and she continues to soar in anything she does, especially with the youth. I'm extremely proud to know her. Yes, she is doing a phenomenal job on, especially on this one. This is an issue that's transcend, borders. And it is important that we start working together, we start being visible so that, we can help our youth to go through the different, problem and obstacle that they have, difficulty to manage before it goes too far. So thank you, Dr. Amber, for that, for your comment. And yet be aware of the triggers, because that's the key thing. The triggers are important. We have to be aware. We have to know our children, know themselves, and it is important to look at. So how do we, because there's a lot about the trigger, there's a lot about knowing yourself, there's a lot about parents not, picking up some of the emotions that are going on with their children. So how do you, as a parent, start to create this environment where you can pick up those triggers?
Well, first you have to pay attention. As we said, the O in COPE is observation opens opportunities. If you're not observant and you're not watching and you're so caught up with just your day to day living, which can become very easy to do, you will missed the green flags. You will
Mhm.
miss the signs that your child has gone from being a very vibrant and happy child to now becoming a sad and closed in person. And like we said, different stages in life, they do go through different phases. However, if your child is someone who you know is always the life of the party, and now you see them reclusing, you see them not isolating themselves, and not because of COVID-19, but isolating themselves because something is happening within their lives. They could be in a relationship with someone who is mentally, verbally, or possibly physically abusing them. They could be in maybe a young man that's being enticed to become in a gang. There's different things that you have to actually watch and observe to be able to see. So the first thing is you have to be able to see. You have to be able to not ignore. Like we said, you cannot just ignore what we see. And one of the reasons why parents possibly and adults period may not address the things that they see is because out of
Mhm.
fear of the unknown, fear of the fact that you don't know how to handle this, fear that you don't even, you know something's not right, but you don't have the tools and you're not equipped yourself to handle it. So you have to be able to step outside of yourself, have that conversation, understand something is going on that needs to be addressed, and reach out for help. You have to be, that's why we're creating Hope for Hope, because we want to be a resource for you to be able to connect you with those people that can help you. You can be able to tap in and say, listen, we got some stuff going on here. We don't know sure exactly what it is. We might not be able to, try to see if we can get some assistance. We can try to ascertain what it is that's needed, talk to some of our people, our resources and our connections, and be able to see where we can lead you, or help you to be able to possibly connect with someone that can help the situation. So you have to be able to step out of fear. Fear is has torment. Fear traumatizes. And the reason why your young person is not saying anything to you is out of fear of being looked at differently, out of fear of being called something different. Our mouths are deadly today. You know, we say things out of our mouths that really kill a person's spirit. We have to be able to speak life and not death, speak hope and not just be able to cope. We have it from cope to hope because we're just coping now. But we got to get back to being not just hope being deferred, but for to see that there is hope. We got to get these young people to be able to see hope is available to you. There is hope. You can get through this. You are not alone. We have to let them know they're not alone. So if we let them know that they're not alone, they will be able to know that we're with them, that they have a resource, that they have an ally, that they have someone that is actually caring about what it is that they're going through, even if you may not understand it. See, we think, well, we don't understand this, so, no, you have to be able to get rid of that stinking thinking and be able to understand that this is a new day and time. This is a day and time where we have kids that's less than, I think that young man in that video had to be less than 10 years old, or definitely he wasn't a teenager, saying that he wants to grow up and be a murderer. My first thing, he loves killing. My first thing is, okay, he is exposed to too much too soon. Secondly, why is it, what's going on with him that he feels like killing is right? That he feels like murdering somebody is something to do because that's all you see on the TV. Even the cartoons and different things is so violent. The world is so violent, and violence has become the answer for everything today. So we have to be able to give them another avenue to be able to release those things that are within them, a channel to be able to say, no, you can't hurt animals. No, you can't beat up your brothers and your sister. You can't destroy their toys. You got to look at that. You see your child always destroying their siblings' toys and things like that. Don't just think that that's just sibling rivalry. Address it. Speak about it. Use them as teaching lessons. We have to be, I always tell my kids, these are teachable moments. I'm creating memories. You have to be able to teach these lessons. And they don't have to be, they can be small and in doses where they can understand them. You can use a program that you're watching. Let's talk about this. What did you get out of this? What do you see that's wrong about this? How could something be done better? Open up, give them the opportunity to be able to dig down deep within themselves and begin to see that there's another way to resolve these. Conflict resolution has to be taught. That's something that we deal with also in Healing Pain through the arts, through our programs. Conflict resolution. Our young people don't know how to resolve conflict. The first thing they want to do is pick up a gun and shoot somebody. No, gun violence is out of control. We cannot continue to solve our problems by shooting one another. What happened to using your mouth? What happened to using that? And that's another thing about social media. It exposes them to everything. It gives them a false reality, and it does not allow them to see the realness of what's going on. If you think that you are just going to be able to walk around and inflict a harm with your mouth on people, they're going to retaliate today, and it's not going to be in a good way. So we have to learn how to teach them how to have healthy communication, how to be able to speak properly. Relationships are in such I've seen such volatile dating, not even married, but dating. You dating this person, you don't need to be fighting and cursing each other out and calling each other outside your name. All of this stems back to what ends up affecting their mental health. We've got to be able to provide, see these green flags, observe them, not just observe and just okay, out of your fear, but start doing some research. Check in with us. Reach out to Cope to Hope, from Pain to Purpose. Reach out to someone that you know that can get you that resource to be able to help that person. If it's you know that you need help. You know the thoughts that you're thinking are not good. We need to be, especially if you're thinking of harming yourself. You have young people that cut themselves because they're not able to verbally communicate to anyone what's going on with them. Maybe that she's been molested. and now she's cutting herself. Maybe someone is taking advantage of her. Someone's trying to human traffic them. There's so much behind this. And some parents will say, my kids got it good. We make a good living over here. They ain't got
Mm-hmm.
no problems. There's no reason. They in the church, they this, that. Honey, those are the ones, especially if they're gifted and talented. Let me tell you something. Creative young people is who the devil is after. If they have a gift or a talent and they can be do good in this world, he wants them for himself. And he is going to try to plague them with everything that can take them off course so that they do not
Mm-hmm.
walk in the purpose and the plan that God has designed for this. But we pray, not just do we do the work, but in Culture Hope, we're praying for you.
Mm-hmm.
We're praying and standing in the gap and interceding for the minds of the people, that God would cover our minds and that he would give us perfect peace. The Bible says, he that the mind that dwells on him is in perfect. I will keep your mind in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on me. We have to keep our minds on the things of God, the things that our minds is infiltrated with so many things that's not godly, and we expect to have a godly world. Like they said, we've taken God out of the schools. We've taken God out of the prayer out of the schools. We can't even talk about God, but we can talk about any and everything else, no matter how evil it is. We have got to get back at hope that we need to get back to is hope that God can bring us through. The hope that we need to get back to is the hope that God can change a degenerated mind and put it back together and give it peace. A mind that's plagued with trauma that you've been through, a mind that is plagued with things that have happened, that you have seen, that you have observed. Sometimes it didn't happen to that person, but they observed it. A man may have, look at what happened to Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
He just snapped and
Mm-hmm.
slapped the man on nationwide TV, okay, slapped him because he snapped, because his mind has been plagued for years of seeing his mother when he was young be abused by his father, and he could not protect her. He said that himself. And I'm not making excuses for him. I'm using him as
Mm-hmm.
an example. He got to a point, he's been through so much or whatever have you in his life, where I guess maybe he felt like he hasn't protected his wife like he should have, or he didn't protect her. So now it's like, no, man, you ain't gonna dog my wife on national. Even though people feel like Chris Rock didn't really do anything that deserved that, I didn't either. But he snapped, and this is what's
Mm-hmm.
happening. We're snapping. We're in a sick society. People are using violence instead of using our mouths as grown adults, as young people. We have to understand violence is never the answer, and violence begets violence. You do me, I'ma do you. You and your crew coming to get me and my crew. It never stops. We have
Mm-hmm.
got to stop this cycle, and a lot of it comes from a generational curse. We have got to demolish and annihilate these generational curses. So, Cope to Hope is a full service. We are praying. We're spiritual. We're natural.
Mm-hmm.
We're dealing with it from all sides. This is how we're going to address this. And it's not going to, like I said, happen overnight, because it didn't happen overnight.
It's not gonna happen overnight. It is, it is very, very, very difficult. People, we have to understand that it's gonna be a long process, but it should not stop us to start, because there are already something laid down, and we just have to keep being persistent. And like you said, if we go with it with God, there's no way we're gonna fail. So we need to bring God with us in this
Have to.
journey, because there's a lot that the devil are lie, in this journey. So we need God to remove all the blockage, all the challenges, and all the things that are gonna stop us to take action and to save our babies, to save our children, to save our
Yes.
young adults, to
God.
save
Jesus.
every single child that we have around us. And we need to listen. Like you said, we need to listen, we need to observe, and we need to take action and get out of the fear, because fear can paralyze people. But
Paralyze you.
yeah, so let's feel the fear, but do it anyway, and go after what's best for our youth, what's best for our young adults, and what's best for us. Because if our children are not happy, how can we be happy? If we lose our children, how can we be happy? It's impossible. So we are doing it not only for our children, but we're doing it for ourselves and for
Yes.
humanity, because we need them. So let's
Yes.
have our last break, and then I really want you to leave us with a message that you think we should, we should own, in this process that and in this work that you're doing. So don't go anywhere. We'll have a short break, and we'll be back with Dr. Amber, the Queen of Smooches. So we are back. We are back with Dr. Amber. And Dr. Amber, before we leave this platform, after such a powerful presence and such a powerful message, and insight, so what do you think we should, leave the platform with? Something that you think we shouldn't, forget, or something that you think that we should do as, as parents, or as young adult listening, or as, a sister or a brother, and to save, our children, to save them from getting to the, to the wrong road, as far as mental health is concerned.
Well, first, let me say thank you, Queen Muriel, for this opportunity to be here with you today. It has been an honor. Thank you for allowing Cope to Hope and From Pain to Purpose to be broadcasted in Australia this morning. I am excited. I am honored. This is our first international um, interview in regards to this program. I've done many international interviews, but this is our first in regards to Cope to Hope. So thank you for first seeing the posts and the messages that I have been putting up, and to just rally right to be able to be a resource, an ally, a connection for us to be able to bless our young people. So I'm so appreciative. Thank you so much this morning. As we close out, I just would say, first, I also want to thank the You Speak Out podcast team, Christian Buckmeyer, Andrew Buckmeyer, Ashton Gates, and Emmanuel Lyons. Christian Buckmeyer and Andrew Buckmeyer are my nephews. They're my pastor's children. My sister, is my and her husband are my pastors, and and Ashton Gates was a young lady that grew up with us in our church. And my son Emmanuel Lyons, he works. He's an artist, Saint Even, and he works tirelessly with me in From Pain to Purpose and Healing Pain through the Arts. And my nephews and my son, they're part of the You Speak Out podcast co-host. So I want to thank them for lending their voice. I asked them at the last minute to can I let them do that for me so that we can have something to put out, and I thank them. So that's something that I would like to leave. If you um have the opportunity to be able to shine hope in someone's life, what would be your message? My message is, what are you hoping for? Not just coping with, but what are you hoping for? If you ask people today, a lot of people, what are they hopeful for? A lot of them may not even have an answer, because it's so much that's bogging down the minds of adults and young people. we would have to take a moment to think about, instead of it being readily on our tongue, what are we hopeful for? Not thankful for, but what are you hoping for? That means that there's a future. That means that there's something that you yet still need to be realized and materialized in your life. And if you have lost hope and you're not hoping for something, that means you're lost. So we need to get you back to the place of being able to hope again. What I would say is find something that you enjoy. Find something that gives you passion. What are you passionate about? What is it that you enjoy doing? It doesn't matter how much money you have right now. It doesn't matter if you think that you can't get you want to sing and you can't get the singing lessons. Start where you are. Start where you are. Start with what you have. You have to be able to know that there is greater days ahead. I know it looks bleak. I know we can't barely drive from point A to point B because the gas prices are so high. I know that there's so much going. COVID refused to go away, but guess what? COVID, unfortunately, is probably here to stay. We have to be able to what we gonna do? Lay down and give up hope? No, the numbers are rising again. What we got to do, get back to the things that we had to do when we knew that we COVID first came. You have to continue to fortify yourself, continue to surround yourself around positive people. Stop staying around negative people, people that speaking negative things in your ear, telling you you can't do it, telling you you're not worthy, telling you, and parents, please do not speak those things over your children. Affirm them. Begin to have daily affirmations. Get up every day. If you have to name the day, today is Friday. Faithful Friday or Fun Filled Friday. I'm going to have some fun today and I'm going to show faithfulness to someone today. Begin to call the day what it is. Thankful Thursday. I am thankful. What am I thankful for? Winning Wednesday. I am a winner today. Tenacity Tuesday. I am going to be tenacious and go after what I want Tuesday. Manifestation Monday. I am going to manifest what it is that I see and hope for in this life. Begin to do these things. Begin to affirm your children. Speak to them. Tell them they are talented. Tell them they are beautiful. Tell them they are smart. Tell them that they can do anything. Ask them what it is they desire to do and begin to cultivate those things. Begin to cultivate the talents that your children have. So that's what I would share with you today. You have to begin to change your atmosphere, change the dynamics of what it is that is what we're seeing that is affecting us mentally. And don't wait for somebody to have a breakdown. Don't wait for somebody to fall into depression and then you can't get them out. Begin to address these things now. Begin to open up your eyes and observe, communicate, observe, create the opportunities, and begin to provide provisions and be eager to do so. When they tell you they need help, don't put it off for a month. Begin
Mhm.
to try to address it as soon as possible. I know things do take time, but let them know if you have to put it up. Mom hasn't forgotten you, dad hasn't forgotten you. We're working on it. Can you give me some time to these are conversations? It's okay. It's
Mhm.
okay. So we just want to know that hope, the reason why the color is green is because of life. Remember, hope deferred makes a heart sick, but a
Mhm.
dream fulfilled is the tree of life. And a life gives forth branches and it gives forth, its roots goes down deep and it speaks life and hope. And we want you to be filled with life and hope and not the death that we see around us. So thank you. And I hope this has blessed someone today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amber. It has been a very powerful conversation, and I really hope that and I know that the audience appreciate this conversation. Sometimes those are things that we need to hear, and but we don't ask for it. So it's important that we start the conversation wherever we are, and we start to affirm all of this and share all of this with people around the world, because sometimes they have thing in their heart, but it's cheap. They just need, a breakthrough, somebody coming and, telling them the words that you shared today, to give them, the power to step into their own power, to step into their own greatness, and to start, taking action, positive action, to get, a better life, to get a better, mindset, to get a better, health, mental health. And those kind of conversation are very, very important. And I really want to commend you for your work and the impact that this work is starting to have. And now we're going globally, and I can assure you that, that's something that is really valuable for a place like Australia, but everywhere, because mental health is such a big issue right now. We don't communicate anymore. We don't talk to each other. And what happened is that, we isolate ourselves, and we go into a spiral that can actually be deadly. So it's important to reopen, the communication channel, and to create this channel, and close this gap that we see happening between, between people, but most importantly, in this case, between adults and young adults and their children. We need to go back and talk with our children, like you said, and start to see, to affirm them as, as our children, to make them strong, and get them to be empowered, totally empowered, to open
Yes.
up when they are, they have issues, and not create fear, and get them to close completely and finally lose them. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Amber. Just before we leave, how do people connect with you if they want to continue this conversation or know more? How do they get to know more about the work that you're doing?
They can connect with me through Linktree. Linktree is linktr.ee
Mm-hmm.
ALYONS 63. So Linktree is
Mm-hmm.
linktr .ee/a lions ALYONS 63. All of my social media, our website, everything is on Linktree. They can connect with us there. Everything, you can follow us. Please follow the You Speak Out podcast. Please subscribe. Go to YouTube and subscribe and follow them on all platforms as well. They're on Instagram. Um, Twitter, YSO Podcast on Instagram, and YSO_podcast on Twitter. And also from Pain to Purpose is on Instagram. Please follow us. We're on Twitter, and we're on Facebook from Pain to Purpose. So please follow us. You can connect with us there. We are looking forward to working with you and your young people. And parents, do not be angry if your child talks to someone else. Be glad that they're speaking to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we get an attitude when our young people talk to another adult about our family business. Be glad that they're speaking to someone. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to be open for that as well. So you can connect with us there, and we ask everyone to. We want to invite those that are able to attend our first Cope to Hope check-in person event on Saturday, August the 13th. That will be held at Spiritual International Worship Center in Loganville, Georgia. You can go on Eventbrite, and there's a bit.ly link that's on my page, but you can go to Eventbrite and search Cope to Hope check-in. And the registration is free. It's at 3 o'clock p.m. on August the 13th. And we look forward to having you guys join us. We want to fill the building with young people, youth, and young adults who are ready to just have a conversation about this topic and what's going on with them in the world. And, it will be able to be a blessing for them to
Mm-hmm.
be in that space, even if they don't share personally, but just to hear what others have to say would be a blessing.
Fantastic. And thank again. So I hope you got all the information from Dr. Amber. So the link tree, it's on, on the screen here. So make sure you check, the work that she's doing. It is amazing what she's doing for your, for your babies and for the young adults in your families. For the time being, it's just concentrate work. It's concentrated in the U.S., at least the groundwork, but I can see that things are evolving, and it's gonna go viral internationally because it's so much value and so much a help to the youth, that something like that cannot be wasted just like that. So thank you so much. I will be back for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show later, and we will be talking to Dr. Supriya from India, and we're going to talk about becoming the best version of ourselves. So thank you for everyone that been part of this conversation. Again, Dr. Amber, smoosh, and I'm receiving yours, and you are a real queen, and we really value your work, and we
Thank
are so
you.
grateful for you to help the young generation to go through all their mental blockages, and save them from death, because we want them to explore, we want them to be happy, and that's
Yes.
what you're doing. So thank you so much. And for the audience, be blessed, and be back if you can later on, or next week, for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. So that's all for today. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. I did enjoy it, and I hope that you've pumped up now to help, to get into it, because it's our battle. It's the battle for all of us. So
Yes.
make sure you take action, and share this conversation if you can, so that everybody's aware of what Dr. Amber is doing, the great work that she's doing. So thank you, and
Thank
see you
you.
later.
Smooches.
Smooches.